All right. We don't have our usual fly through intro. We gave a lot of people time. There's like 5 more minutes. Well, see, I watch it later anyways. I don't watch it right at 9. So, but this episode, just to start it off, we try not to spoil it here, but I think Dom and Jay were right in two different portions. Dom got the episode wrong, right? But he got it right. They're going to do a flashback with the same director. And JJ got the director, the episode, and the flashback right. So congratulations, boys. That's as much as we're going to spoil that pretty much. So we had it also too. It's the whole episode. And JJ, what is your question?
Why?
No, that's not what statement. What did you say before this? What did I say if we had a whole flashback?
If I could pull the clip of Marco saying if it was an all flashback episode, he'd be disappointed.
Yeah. So I started off disappointed. I will tell you, I did not end up disappointed.
No, I wasn't disappointed. Listen, I was happy. I was happy finally, we have another point of view.
Yeah, we already watched it. Yeah, I think that was one of the things too. We said we had to have a point of view. Point of view we got might not be the point of view everybody thought we were going to get. But it was a good point of view. I think JJ brought up a good point. And there starts to be, we actually were 3 seconds late because this episode, there's something that happens that I think over the next couple days, how somebody dies, if that actually was meant, that person was meant to die, or if
what the intention was of
what the intention behind the death was. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. What the intention behind the death was. And I think when we're going to watch it again, I think that's probably a part that's going to get broken down. Does JJ like dead Wookiees? Yes.
That's right.
You remember, he's back to Darth negativity.
And let me ask you
we can send you a link. Hold on. You're in the middle. Yeah. Somebody send him a link. What? Go ahead, Dom. Go ahead.
Here's your question. So, say if they showed this episode as episode 3, you think that people would have well received it a little bit better than the episode 3?
No, I think if they showed it as episode 3, or if they showed it.
Well, if they showed this, like the, because they gave the one point of view, but if they gave this point of view to without the,
I don't think if they did this point of view in episode 3, or if they did this as episode 3 combined or episode 4, it would have been as good. Now, I know JJ says retread or whatever.
Well,
it's a different point of view. But yeah, I mean, that's semantics there. But go ahead, JJ. What was your thoughts?
As I said, you don't want to put it right after the next episode. Could they have combined them? Yes. Would that be the right call? I don't know. Because so much goes on later in the series that you might forget, plot point wise, what's occurring. But I don't know that this was the right place for it either. When episode 7 is typically like, the middle of your third act, the penultimate episode, that's meant to do all this stuff, and you have an all flashback episode. When there's other stuff going on that's not at all addressed in that flashback episode. So I don't know.
I don't know. Like I said, I thought last episode was 6 was kind of like the build up to 8, which was good. Instead of being a breaking point. And then well, hold on. Let me ask you this. Would you have rather had this as episode 6 than episode 7? We switched off the episodes.
If it was, I mean, I don't want to be like, I'm obviously not a television director, and I don't act like I'm like a television writer
on the internet,
but I do enough anyways. But to me, what would have worked well was to have episode 6 and kind of dealing with Sol and May on the ship type thing, and then rolling that into because I think you could cut off about 20 minutes or so at least of what we got here, flashback wise, because it kind of treads back over what we saw earlier. And I think if you did that, you could combine that into episode 6 and then roll on with the stranger and the twins switching places and all that in your last 2 episodes.
I think they're going to wrap it up. I think they're going to wrap it up in one episode. I think they could do it.
But the question is, will it be sloppy?
That's where I differ. I think I was thinking about that as it was happening. So I was trying to dislike this episode. I really was trying to do it because I know there's nothing I like more than admitting I was right and not contradicting myself. And as JJ has stated earlier, I said, if they do another one, I'm going to have to purposely hate the episode. So I was looking for a point to hate it. And the one point I thought I could have gotten away with was like, oh, they're just going to show us the same shit again. But I mean, they showed us the same point in time, but I don't think they showed us the same thing.
No, they didn't show us the same thing, but they showed
Last 3 hours. They're going to do a movie.
Some of the episodes, some of the scenes that were in episode 3, but different points of view, which made it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Go ahead. No, you go ahead and talk because I'm supposed to do this because I keep forgetting this.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
I really, I enjoyed this. I actually really enjoyed this. Much better than episode 3, but I did enjoy episode 3 more than a lot of people would admit that they.
See, I'll tell you this. I thought episode 3 kind of stunk. I think the weakest of all episodes. I do not think this was the weakest of all episodes. I think they made that episode weak so that when they set this episode up, it didn't deteriorate. It wasn't like, oh, that wasn't a strong episode. It wasn't a climatic episode.
I think they were trying to show the point of view in episode 3 through the twins, particularly one twin.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of succeeded in that, but I think it made for a more boring episode. Just because there's obviously not the stuff that's in this episode, action wise, is not in 3. So
yes,
I think it makes for a more, exciting.
You can ask John. You try to wait till ask us Sunday. If we're willing to answer it, we'll answer it. If we do not answer it, we won't put it on the screen so people don't see. Because we've got a bunch of people following us on, the old Twitter.
Try to answer it. It doesn't spoil too much.
Yeah. A couple on the Twitcher too. So yeah, if it doesn't spoil much, we'll answer the question. I just think I really now think that the reason why it ended up so much 3 might be bad, and it probably is a mistake, and it probably is why it's the weakest. I don't think this improved 3 at all. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Well,
I do.
I mean, you had to show both points of view, and maybe they thought they couldn't fit it in one episode. Apparently, I think they kind of could have if they tried, but.
So we're being careful on spoilers, though, right?
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, with the exception of telling everybody it's a flashback episode.
Flashback episode
was pretty much telegraphed anyway.
So at least one thing I can tell you: the scenes that they showed in the trailer.
No, go ahead and ask it, John.
They officially, those scenes are done. The flashback scenes are done, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will tell you something, and we'll probably get into it. There was one scene where they were using something, and even my wife had said something. I was like, "Yeah, this is dumb." Like it's like they put the ice cream fucking maker in there, and I'm like, "Dude, why? Like it's not."
Yeah.
The ice cream.
No, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
The amount of time they were there, I'm like, you really are there for that long doing that? Like, seriously?
The ice cream. Well, no. So how I interpret that wasn't the first. That was all planet. That was. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was a really big planet. Yeah.
But I kind of agree with the character that was complaining in that scene. I was like, I completely agree with him. Why are you there for that long?
John, I think that's part of a possession power, possibly.
No, that's not. No,
because
it's it's just a way to transport. You've seen it before in Star Wars.
But I think that crap. I can't say that because I have thoughts, but I guess I'll save it till Sunday. But
it was just black magic, John. It's just how they could transport.
There's a couple of different things that happen in this episode that I have questions about. But, not that I have questions about, that I think have deeper meaning. And I don't think anybody's going to pay attention to them so much as they're going to complain about certain things. Which is unfortunate.
Once again, we don't give a crap if people complain about stuff because.
No, I'm just talking about.
If you're not enjoying this, I mean, if you're not enjoying this, that's on you. I mean, you don't have to enjoy it. You can watch something else. So, I mean, in general with this show, I mean, it's a good show. We kind of covered the bombing thing before, but it's even Dom's New Leaf, he stopped following all those things, and look at how happy he is now. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. With that's just John. What I see he's asking about the black mist. That is a common thing about the witches. I think they brought up another deck of witches, to try to decipher themselves from that sect without spoiling anything. And I think they did that so that they could use some of the same, shall we say, gimmicks. So the same basic understandings of that sect in this sect, but also prove that they're different sects.
Yeah, 'cause
However, I'm not sure that the Jedi knew how that witch's covenant worked. That's what I'll say. I'm not sure they understood exactly how it worked. So, but that's something that will be talked about later. Yeah.
there was a lot of Jedi misunderstanding in this series.
Weren't they there looking for? Not. They were not. You know what the weird part about this is?
You
Yeah,
can't,
kind of. Yeah.
can't really explain what they were there looking for without spoiling them. Pretty major plot point. So I don't need.
Yeah, pretty major plot point. I actually thought it made sense though. I mean,
Do you notice
how
they
they were
mentioned something that happened earlier in the High Republic? Like that started off the High Republic thing, really.
Yeah, they did. The hyperspace.
Did everybody catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing is, like, I think using that plot device to do it is a good point. Like, I think it made sense, and a lot of the stuff that they did made. I know you don't. I know you think it's cheesy and easy. I'm like thinking for the greater audience, JJ. So yes, it's cheesy.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm just thinking of the fact that like they still called it a hyperspace accident or whatever. Even though we all know how High Republic started, it wasn't an accident.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Well, you notice that when they mention that they look up and they kind of pan up into the sky, and you notice there's still debris up there or something going on above in space above the planet.
Well, I actually think that was more of
there was something else. Yeah, there's something else that they were talking about.
They were watching what was going on with.
There was something else that they were talking about.
Yeah,
there's something else.
I not for anything. I love the different point of view when it came to.
They're looking for certain aspects.
How we see things like a certain Jedi, kind of reminded me of.
Yeah. They definitely took some notes.
Yes.
They definitely used some regular. How do you say? We've seen Jedi act like this before. This is nothing like what goes on in this episode is I had somebody already hit me up going like, oh wow, blah 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 blah. That's different. And I was thinking to myself, oh no, it's not really different. We have
no, it's not. It's really not.
This happened before. So I mean, I think that's pretty, but once again, it gave the same flavor that we normally get anyhow. Anyways, so I thought that was good. John, that's what that was the reference they were making, John.
Not for anything. There's a certain someone that needs an attachment or something. He needs something.
Before that. It was before Starlight, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Yeah. Without saying anything. Yeah. All right. What were you saying, Dom?
I was saying there was a certain someone that needs an attachment that he just wanted like, I need somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man.
That was so
yeah, that was a weird scene.
I know, right?
That was weird.
I didn't quite figure out. I got what she was trying to do, but at the same time, I don't get the method she was trying to use to do it. Seemed oddly illegal in some states, maybe.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
You guys will have to tell me backstage what you mean because I kind of don't think. Yeah.
There was that was a little weird too. That whole it wasn't just that one. There was a bunch of other stuff. I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, there's a lot of minutia there that if you get too far into, where it's going to spoil too much stuff. But
yeah, it's just
there's definitely some stuff that answers some questions, but I think there's also some stuff that brought up a lot more questions that I don't. I think that's where
you get it.
I think if you read between the lines, though, there's answers there that you're not seeing.
I think they have stuff too with. I think there's stuff too, like obviously there's something I've mentioned before on shows, and it kind of happened here. So that was interesting because that made sense. I just think everything they did wasn't as far-reaching, maybe JJ, as you thought, and I think everything after
I don't think
watching
it was far-reaching. I think it was. If you want my brutally honest opinion on it, I think it was full of tropes and forgotten plot points in its own show sometimes. And I think in the end, it rehashed a lot more of this episode than you thought it did.
See, on my thing, it was, hey, let's find easy ways to finish this up. That's what I thought they did.
But this doesn't finish anything up. That's my point. Like, I think in my opinion, you've evolved this story now in the current timeline to a point where we saw last episode, which the mystery now to me is more involved in what does the stranger want and what's Osha going to do and what's May going to do.
That's why.
But this takes that back, but brings you, because it's an all flashback episode, doesn't bring you back into the present at all at any point to answer any of that. That's why know how. Well, I don't want to spoil that part of it.
That's why I kind of said, would you swap 6 and 7? Because I think if you put this at 6,
you can't do that. You can't do that because the buildup. It's weird. They kind of split it in that. I think the Saul and May on the ship buildup was the buildup to this episode as a flashback, but the really Osha and stranger part was not at all. So,
if you look at a certain part towards the ending of the episode, with Saul, when the fire broke out and stuff like that, did you notice something?
Well, it was slightly. I don't know what you want me to notice.
Okay, I don't want to.
Yes,
answer
that question.
There's a couple things I noticed. I noticed how. Hey, I actually noticed they explained. I noticed they explained how the fire spread.
Okay.
Yeah.
The third episode
more accurately.
Yeah.
Osha,
but also very similarly, but yes.
Yes.
Osha and May are on the two things, and they're breaking.
Oh, that's not when the fire started.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying that when the fire started. Later on.
You're talking about towards the end.
Towards the end. Think about it. Did you see anything different with that particular scene?
It's from an entirely different point of view.
From a different point of view. That's the point.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, it was like, okay,
Well, all of it was from a different point of view because you got, that's what we're saying. Like, you got the first one.
Some of it was the same event like that through a different lens. Yes.
Yeah. You saw it from there was, that's where I think it wasn't a lot of reading because like even the smallest of things that they did there, I feel it had a different feel than in 3 because you saw it through a different lens. So like, I actually thought they did a great job of making sure we weren't seeing it through the same lens that we saw episode 3. Listen, I did not think episode 3 was pretty good. You guys know that. I've said it 100 times. I said it when the episode.
You can't show it. I mean, that's a very low bar to clear. Like, you obviously can't show everything through the same lens that was episode 3, right? Otherwise, you're just repeating the episode.
Yeah.
But they did show a lot of things that you didn't necessarily need to see from that point of view.
He's got to be a master now. I think too, you're also seeing this from, you were seeing this from Saul's point of view. And I think Saul is also probably a little bit harder on himself on how he sees some of the things that went down. And I will tell you, you're right. There's one scene in particular towards the beginning, and Saul is involved with it. And I think that's going to be up for a lot of debate and clarity. And I don't think they're going to clarify it by the end of the season of what actually really happened there. I think there is still questions of what actually really happened.
Yeah. Or even how Saul I know how Saul feels. And we've known that the whole time that he's guilty about something. But like, as far as you don't know what's necessarily, you didn't even get a clear picture though of what was going through his head when what happened.
So I think the first thing isn't, I don't think he's guilty. The first thing, without spoiling anything, the first thing with Saul, I don't think the way we saw it is what we saw. And I don't think he feels guilty about that. The second thing that Don brought up, I think that is what he feels guilty about.
Yeah.
I think that's where he feels guilty. The rest of it, all the rest of it, including the thing, like,
although I don't know. I don't know about that though. I think maybe the first thing he might feel more guilty about than anything, just because of what he heard right after it happened.
Because it could have been an accident too.
Yeah.
Okay, because it could have been an accident.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did have one of the biggest things that we made fun of and said, "Oh, this is a loophole that they're never getting back to. How does this happen?" And then they showed us. So, although I thought some of them were, you might call it tropish or cheesy or easy ways out, at least they did it. I mean, at least they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Would I have? What was running time on that, JJ? It was 45 for credits.
43 total, including credits and all.
Do we know what it was without credits and without the 2 previews?
I don't know. I didn't time it exactly. Usually credits are about 4 to
It
5
was
minutes
about
total.
it was about 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Roughly 38, 39 minutes.
I feel like we needed like 10 more minutes.
You see, and that's the thing. I love.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Even most of the way through this episode, I thought, well, they're going to pull it back into the present for maybe the last few minutes, and that didn't happen.
Actually,
5 minutes, whatever. Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
I was hoping we would see. Okay, so at the end of the 3rd episode, you see May at the tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
I was hoping they would circle back to that at the end of this episode, because I was hoping maybe Chimera would find her or
yeah, that would. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's the thing that would kind of tie it back.
Yeah, that's what we're saying, right? We just weren't going to.
Right now, you have this present storyline with the stranger and Osha and all that, and there's nothing in this episode that ties it directly with that.
And since they did so many easy things. Since they did so many easy things to explain stuff in this episode, it wasn't even 10 minutes. They could have done this in 2 minutes. They could have easily done something in 2 minutes to explain.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been quick.
I
still think
more flashback when episode 8 comes. I hope they don't show like a little bit, starts off with a flashback and then goes to the present day.
I still think Chimera, possibly even his master, may have been there with the witches. Because he knows too much. I mean, unless May's just given him her thoughts on the whole thing.
But that's what you don't want in your final episode, though, is to have then flashing back to Chimera's point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want that for your
not Chimera, but just have the scene where she was at the tree, and then you see when Chimera or whatever happens. It start off with that.
You could do it. You could do a cold open with that. You could do a cold open with that. Cold open the episode with her running into Chimera at the tree.
Well, they kind of been doing all the cold things anyway.
And then flash forward to the current time. You know.
Well, I guess we spoiled that Chimera's not in the episode. So
well, it's an all flashback episode.
Yeah.
Got ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't think. I think part of the reason maybe people will be hesitant about this or listening to what you guys are saying is because it sounds like you guys are expecting, or at least Dade is expecting something I'm not expecting in this TV show at all.
What?
I don't think there's a master.
Yeah, I don't think there's a twist. Everybody keeps thinking there's a twist is coming. I don't think there's not a grand twist anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe at the very end, but then the question is, does your twist work?
There you go, John. There you go. I don't know if that's true that shapeshifted. Okay.
I mean, if they really want a season 2 and they really ended it on like a twist cliffhanger ending of someone appearing like out of the blue, like that would just be so, I don't know, cheesy.
Well, there's an actor that was hired for this show that has yet to show up. Possibly will be in the last episode. Well, I mean, he's gonna have to be in the last episode.
Yep.
Unless they completely cut his parts entirely, which I don't think they've done.
I mean,
and I wonder who he is. Because there's really no indication.
Yep.
Trying to be as vague as I can be here.
No, that is true.
You don't know if it's true. That's just a rumor.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, also too, I quit paying attention to that in Star Wars shows forever ago because actors want to be in Star Wars, no matter what the
Yeah,
role they
Christian
play.
Same thing. Yeah,
No,
they
but
don't
that
like-
guy was actually cast for the show. That's an official thing. He
That's my
was
point. But
cast for the show.
Warner Herzog was also cast for Mandalorian, but he was just a client. I mean, it wasn't like he was like. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think sometimes people just want to be in the show. It could be a relatively minor character that shows up.
I'm not saying it's a major character or a minor character. I'm just saying he hasn't shown up. I wonder who he is. I was just being
Yeah.
vocal about curiosity there. I'm not trying to say he's like some major character.
Well, you said it when we said we don't think there's a master showing up, so you're inferring. I mean, that's what an inference is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think like at this point, I think if they just end it, I don't know, man. If I really don't have a problem if they just end the show. Like, I think it was good so far. I mean, once again, we've said it the whole time. They have to stick the landing here. They do. They have to stick the landing here. But like, it was very watchable, and I think that's what we have to sometimes go back to. Was this entertaining? I was entertained. I got to say, I was entertained.
Thank you, Dwayne.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm not a huge fan of flashbacks, but it is what it is. All right, Dom, what do you got, man? What are you ranking out of 5?
I'm ready. Hey, listen, I'm actually giving this a 4.5 because a certain, even though it's a flashback, I actually give it a much higher than in episode 3 because it was more than just a flashback. They showed. That's why I give it more, and I thought it was really, really cool the way they did that scene.
JJ, I hear you cackling, so I assume.
It was still a flashback. I don't know about more than a flashback, but
No, he said more. It was more than. I think what he meant was better than episode 3. It was a lot better.
Yeah,
That's when he's saying it was more than episode 3. I think he was saying it's better than episode 3. It's just downward. So
I actually think if this was episode 3, it would have been received a lot better.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I think so.
It would have been hard to make it 3 though, because you don't know the characters' point of views that you're seeing, like souls. You don't
I know.
know
It just
well enough by episode 3 for that to make a lot of sense.
Which I mean, this episode kind of makes the other episodes better, to be honest with you. But go ahead, JJ. What do you got? Oh wait, are you not done?
Well, while you're on that point though, how does this make? Okay, let's take episode 4 and 5 as an example, which a lot of people thought were, at least 5 was one of the better episodes so far. Like, how does this make episode 4 and 5 better in your mind?
Well, you just said
To answer that
because
question.
if you didn't have 4 and 5, then this would just be episode 3, and it wouldn't have made it as good. I mean, I'm just
This
agreeing.
would have been episode 4, but
Well, it would have been episode right. But say my point.
that's not
being,
really answering my question. I'm saying, how does this enhance those 2 episodes?
how does it enhance them? Because
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think because those episodes, it makes them more relevant. Because without those episodes, this would be once again same level as episode 3.
because you know a lot more now.
I mean, that's what you said too. I mean, you said you know a
Well,
lot more
you know
now
more
because
about
of those
Saul's
episodes.
character,
Through those
those
episodes.
2
Yeah,
episodes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it necessarily enhances those.
Well, not
episodes.
just
It's
his,
character
also
development.
you get you get a little bit more out of a lot of things, but yeah. Well, I mean, it makes it.
I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just
no. I just said it makes them more
curious the
relevant.
answer.
I just
Yeah.
said it makes them more relevant. I didn't say it enhances and like superpowers them up. It makes it more relevant, which I think is what you want out of these episodes, right? And I think it does because it tells the story of the character. Now we know who the main character is. Can I say one thing that annoys me because I keep waiting to say this and I forgot? I know people have been praising, like Dom has, and maybe Wayseeker a lot has been praising the actor who plays Soul because he learned English. And hey, man, hats off to you. No, it's really hard. I think it got in the way. Like it was tough this episode.
Also, flashback Soul's hair. We gotta have a talk. Like, let's make him look younger by giving him some weird hairpiece.
Yeah.
Does not
Okay.
work.
Yeah, the hairpiece was not good. Okay, I'll give you that. But yeah, I think the learning
It
English
almost
thing really
like,
hindered.
can we like deep fake him?
Was very distracting. But I mean, once again, it got
Well,
the
that's
guy
the
learned
fun-
English in 3 months, so that's 3
Yeah.
months English for you.
Yeah,
So
that's why I say
I mean, you
know,
can't
I give
hate
him
on
a
it.
break on that.
I'm giving him a break. I am giving him a break. I'm just saying it was, if we're being honest, like we say we always are, yeah, kind of distracting this episode. All right, JJ, give
Honestly,
it to us
in
now.
my opinion, before I give my score real quick, in my opinion, best actress or / actor on this show has only been 2 episodes. You know who I'm talking about? Like the actress for Anastasia. Besides the weird scene that we'll maybe talk about post show, but I still thought that was well acted. Like the
Black Shadow, Smith. The Shadow.
Jodie Turner-Smith, who's playing
Jodie Turner-Smith has been really Mother Anastasia has been a great character.
Yeah. So
every time she's on the screen, she's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
but anyways, score-wise, I'd give it a Oscar. Would have been a 2.5, but there was a particularly good action sequence that saved it.
Oh, there you go. Oh, the one you asked Dom if that's why he likes this episode. Very, very good.
No, I didn't ask him. I said I knew that was why he liked the episode.
Yeah, no, you don't. He knew I was gonna like that. So,
all right, Thane, what do you got, bud?
Okay, so this is out of 5, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and arbitrarily give it a 3. Action sequence was good. I liked the different point of view, which Star Wars has always been about a different point of view. I have some questions, and there's some things that I might talk to you guys about backstage that kind of I have thoughts. Let me just say that. But I give it a 3.
Okay. Yeah, so here's the deal with it. -6. Oh, wait, what? -6. Oh, I know why. Because the shirtless guy wasn't in it. That's why she's saying -6. 2 out of 5 for Ken. She was good. But yeah, she's good. And stuff with the other episodes, except 3 should be longer. Stuff with the thing coming up now. Stuff right. Seems really interesting to me, but I'm going to. 1 episode left. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be pretty short with 1 episode left. I feel like
it'd be a tight fit for sure.
Yeah. I thought, yeah. I mean, it was weird. It was weird. I'm kind of with them. It was weird. I won't say it was weak. I'll just say it was weird.
Yeah. I liked it because certain aspects to it, but hey, you know what?
That's Dub's wife. Everybody's
it definitely wasn't it wasn't episode 5 Quamir friggin'
excellence. Well, since you guys have said he's not in the episode 100 times, this is what she's doing now. Because it's not she only watches this for that character and when he doesn't have his shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
That shirt. Yeah. I thought you meant Yord. There's too many shirtless people in the theater.
Yeah. There's a lot of shirtless people in it. What will I say about it? So here's the deal. I don't like dual flashbacks, but as you've already heard, I think the one I hate more, I actually now would like to go back and redirect my score for episode 3 from a 3 down to a 2, because this episode I think is how a flashback should be, and 2 just seems like now the one episode that, as I say, like it makes 4 and 5, 6 more relevant. It also makes 2 even less relevant, because I think you could just say the whole time. I think you could have easily said the whole. I'm not sure if you needed to show their point of view.
Just to clarify, are you telling me that the musical witches sequence that has now been rendered pointless was not your favorite part of the series?
Well, I'd already said. Every time you remind me that there was a musical witch sequence, I keep lowering the score on that episode. So yeah, probably a 1.5 now at this point. You're right. Yeah. But actually, like, I just think that like. The whole thing now is semi irrelevant, and I really like this point of view better. I think 3 could have been like 10-minute add-on back and forth for a couple things, and then left it like no, but you don't know the truth, and then you get to see this view anyways, because it doesn't. 3 didn't. I mean, when you see this episode, 3 really doesn't add much to the series. It doesn't. It's now it's even less relevant. But yeah, I mean, the only miss they have, it once again, and it could have been 1 minute, it could have been 5 minutes, it could have been 2 minutes.
Hey, listen, John, Torben just had to go home, but you know the fact is that's much better than dying.
That needs to be like that needs to be a shirt. That needs to be like a meme and a shirt. Torben just had to go home.
We have a more in-depth discussion on good old Torben later.
Yeah, we can have it because like. None
Because that kind of made no sense.
None of it made any like. If you look back, actually, the weakest character because of this episode, the weakest character that makes the least amount of sense. Now, did I lose you guys, or am I still there? Because for some reason we got a big storm coming in.
I still see it.
All right, cool. Is Torben. Like, he is now probably the worst character in all of, and this didn't make it any better.
No,
That was probably the one shot they took, and it fell flat. So here are the two problems I have with it. One, the Torben situation. The Torben must go home, which also, like, we could get into that on Sunday. The whole Torben thing.
Really quick.
Go ahead.
Now we know why he took that, that stance. He took that stance because he talks too much caca, too much bullshit. He should have just shut up to begin with. That was it. It just had because he just
the barrage vow.
Yeah. He just
why he spent a decade with his mouth shut.
Exactly, because he talked much.
I mean,
Torben never made master. Torben was a knight. He took the barrage vow before he could become a master.
Okay. So as I was saying, between the Torben thing and I'm serious. I was like JJ. I was like, okay, cool. Just they landed the plane, right? But it was a bumpy landing. They could have stuck it if they gave us 1 to 5 minutes and just clarified very simply a couple things. And you didn't even have to clarify it anyways. Just moved back to the storyline we're on by taking care of the May situation. Let me put it like that. If they would have done that, we would have got a 5. Instead, I'm giving it a 4 because there's those 2 misses, and then by doing this episode, it pretty much throws that. I mean, 3 is already bad, but 3 is now in suck ass territory. It's getting into that suck ass territory now. Right? It was already bad. Now it's getting to suck ass.
The question I have, though, from my point of view, my perspective, I blame that on this episode.
Hey, Sith bombs. All I gotta say. Sith bomb, Uno. Sith bomb. What was that? Dark negativity.
Said in a way, I kind of blame that on this episode, though, because I mean, if you're linearly directing a story, this comes after that. So basically, that now that you've rendered, an hour of my time, well, not a full hour, I guess, in this series,
38 minutes.
Now that you've rendered some of my time watching a whole episode to be relatively pointless, like. I mean,
I don't think it was. I think they still had 3. Are you saying 3 is relatively pointless?
Right. But this episode is responsible for that. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
yeah, I mean, Ken, I won't say the whole thing's terrible because it's not. But 3, I will give you that. But like, once again, we're not throwing the baby out with
my point of view is a little bit like Ken's, in that if you're linearly writing a story, you don't want one episode to essentially wipe out another one.
Yes, I agree. Once again, I agree with that. I don't understand why 3 is there, but I'm not throwing away a whole season of goodness. Like a whole season. You're
ranking the whole season. You're just ranking this one.
Yeah, and this one I think is good. 3 sucks, but I like this episode.
It's still not completely irrelevant because without 3, we wouldn't have the different point of view of this episode. Now, could they have combined the episodes and made it a little bit better?
No, I don't want to see 3. No, the bits. Though that's what I'm saying. The bits that we got out that was halfway decent in 3 was in this episode. The rest of 3 was trash. The dance party bullshit.
We'll forever miss the lengthy discussion on spice creams.
Power of 2.
How many you can eat?
Of many.
Yeah, bro. Like all that was garbage. So
look.
Like,
we had to look at this way. That they had to show that had to be part of the whole storyline to get it moving to this point now. So hopefully we're past this flashback stage. Next episode is all regular day moving forward the story. But it does beg the difference that there's some things like they said that they should have had May at the end of the tree. Who was there and grabbed her? If it was Quibir or whatever the situation, how they know?
Whoever it could have been. It could have been somebody else.
But we finally see what happened and why they all feel guilty about it, and now we move forward. And hopefully, it ends on a good note.
Hey, a 280 battery average is pretty good, buddy. I don't know where you play, but But I don't think you're right on that statement either, Dwayne Scott.
Yes, John.
Only
Wave
sport
seekers.
where getting 25% of the work done is a good thing.
Hey, baseball's a different sport. Yeah.
Shoot 25% in the NBA? No, not so good.
Yeah, not good. No. Well, hey, this is the MLB, I guess. It's a great
Star Wars.
MLB team. Then I guess it's the MLB team of Star Wars.
But John, there is no like the bit isn't in the episode, man.
Huh?
You see what John said there? I know that Wayseeker's favorite episode is
Long episode.
the Shlong episode. I was trying not to say this on a channel that's monetized.
It was Quimia's lightsaber. It's other lightsabers. That's it. Don't worry about it.
It's his short saber.
But
But it's not like the Game of Thrones episode that came out the same week, where you get full on in the face,
So I guess my question now, since there's supposed to be one episode left, and I kind of know where JJ's answer is going to be to this. Do you just want to, like, if they can stick the landing, which I think they still can do, will you give it to them that they can still stick the landing in one episode, JJ? Will you give them that?
Sure.
I mean, you don't think they will, but you think they could, correct?
I mean, to use another sports reference, you can also hit a home run when you're at bat, and you could also ground out.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so if they swing for the fences on this last one, let's just say this is it. Are you going to be okay with the series ending here on this next episode?
Yeah, if they do it right, sure, obviously.
Yeah, but let's look at what needs to be answered in the last episode.
A lot.
There's a shit ton. That episode could be movie length, and I don't think it would explain everything.
No, I don't know if it's as much as you guys think it is. I think some of the things people have theorized they think needs to get out of the way, but I don't think it does. I think it can be. I think they can even almost leave one question. Somebody's background. I think they can leave open ended.
You could leave some threads dangling, which we'll talk more about on Sunday because I don't want to ruin a couple things.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we need to figure out what Vernestra's up to for one.
No,
that's
we already know. They told us already.
Huge question.
No, they told us in one of the episodes. You must have missed it. They told us what she's up to. She's trying to get it that they don't become defenders of the galaxy.
I think part of that too is sometimes we all as fans place expectations is not really the word I'm looking for, but that's the word I'll use. Expectations on certain things that aren't necessarily there. I think this whole series.
Thank you.
There's a lot of theorizing around this series. There's a lot of.
It's fun.
No offense, Dom. There's no offense, Dom, but there's a lot of Dom in this series.
Yeah, there's a ton, which is fine. It's good.
It's fun to theorize. There's nothing wrong with it. And I do it too. Obviously, watch every single Sunday. I throw out 2 different theories, probably.
Yeah, but wild shit. Hey, look at me. I'm still throwing.
But at the same time, this series has been pretty predictable and pretty straightforward. Think about it.
Yeah, it's been predictable a little bit, but I think the one thing is the things that
I don't
weren't
mean predictable in a bad way. I'm just saying the twists and turns that everybody's really expecting to get really deep in the minutia.
Yeah,
hasn't
that's
been there
not.
So far.
That's
and
what.
I don't
See,
think
that's what
there
I'm.
In the end.
Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. Like after seeing this episode and how they easily explain things, they didn't get too much into it. You know what I mean? Like saying that we need these huge, lengthy explanations, and there's all these there really isn't. There really isn't. Now the thing we got to see is now that somebody knows the story of what actually happened, where and come into play, and how is it going to be resolved? All we need to know is how it's going to be resolved with the twins. That's it. You can want other things.
I think they've done it so much now. You have to put the stranger. You have to put Quimir back in there and show us why he's doing what he's doing. Because otherwise, a lot has been done for no apparent reason.
No, I think what I'm saying is like I don't think it has. Yes, but I don't think that has to be a expose on him, right? I think everybody's
it can be relatively short. If they could do it right, and they could do it, within 10, 20 minutes next episode.
You could do it less than that. You could do it in 5 minutes. To be honest with you,
Maybe.
you don't, depending on what it is, like you don't need his entire you don't need his entire backstory.
No, but you need to know, how he met May, how he trained May, or why he trained May, or why he wants the Jedi. We kind of know why he wants the Jedi because he explained it last episode in a way, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's already set this up. He's already kind of set this up. So like, right.
How did he get those scars? Was he really a Padawan? Like, all these answers to these things you created in the last episode didn't address it all in this one, and now there's threads dangling that you really kind of do have to address in the last one.
I think you're going down that hill again of what said a minute ago that fans always want.
I think those are all common questions brought up by the story.
I don't think we need to know about the I don't think we need to know about the scars. What if the scars are just from him battling?
Well, why on earth did I get a 20-minute explanation about it last episode? That's what I'm talking about. Like,
you did get a 20-minute explanation about his scars on his back.
Whatever.
Not the scars on his back. That was just because he was putting on a shirt after he was showing her his slong. And that's
no, it was also later in the cave where he's like, how do you think I got the scar? They literally had a conversation about it. But my point is, you introduce plot elements, and it's not good to just forget about those plot elements at the end and just leave them hanging. People want to see a resolution to those plot elements. Now, will you leave them hanging? Maybe because you think you're going to get renewed for season 2. That's possible. But people still want to see a resolution to the things they're introduced to. And I'm not just talking the longer theories. I'm talking the things that they have put in front of people, not what people have generally assumed.
Well, yeah. Well, once again, I mean, what I'm saying is, if it comes down to it, that it's the scarring on his back, once again, isn't that big of a deal. It can be explained in like 1 second. Like, it could just be explained, just as he says, how did I get these scars? Oh, got scraped by Rancor. Like,
you can explain it all quickly, but the question is, will they explain it? And will they explain all the different things they need to explain in the last episode?
Well, see,
I think they can do it. I think they could also not do it.
I also just disagree on what I think they need to. I think they need to shore up the storyline between the twins, and somehow the stranger. You have to shore up however you do it. It doesn't have to be. I think the stranger, as through most of the season, has been a secondary storyline. It hasn't been focused. I know a lot of people have been focusing on the stranger because I do the Sunday show, and that's all people ask questions about is the stranger. But I'm not. The show is not about the stranger. Maybe it is. I mean, who knows? If it is, there's gonna be a lot of trouble because
whose Acolyte is it?
I don't even know.
If it's the Acolyte, whose Acolyte is it? Is it his? Well, if it's his, then it's about him.
I mean, that's how they're
the large part of it,
right?
Well, I don't know.
I mean that is how they're going to have to do it. But right now, they focus this whole show on 2 twins and their decision on what's going to happen. So, that's the storyline that needs to be summed up. I mean, that's all I think. So, plus, Scary Seance needs him back on there, so because she has a crush on him. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying we don't need saying but we don't need a 30-minute expose like him next round. Is what.
Look, next week's episode is the same amount of length as this one. They got to get finished. They have to close all.
They closed off a bunch of shit though today.
Yeah. So
they did. They closed off a bunch of shit today. So I have faith in it. I mean, you made episode 3 fucking completely irrelevant at this point. So that's a good. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Hey, all those people over there on the old Twitter that are watching over here.
If Basil's gonna live, I want to know if he lives. I don't want to see him die.
Feel free to come on over to Red.
That can be one of the things that leave hanging. I don't care.
What does he say? What did he say? What did he say? I didn't
Whether or not Basil lives or dies.
I was trying to do the promo that we're supposed to be doing. Thanks a lot for ruining it, Dom. For all those people over there watching on the Twitter, we'll put up there one more time. Feel free to come over, join us, follow us, do it. Say it down. Why don't you say this instead? This is the part you're supposed to be saying. Why don't you come over to YouTube? Do what? What do we do, Dom?
You make sure you hit the like button, hit that bell notification for any Renovision show that comes on Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, Sunday, whatever.
Watch for the Sunday show because we will, obviously we'll have more stuff going a little bit deeper. Get to talk about some of the things we didn't talk about here with it. Thank you once again for turning in this week. We really appreciate it. Yep, she's laughing because this show would make a great documentary. What show is he talking about? I don't know. Good to see you though. Late night.
He's probably talking about us.
Behind the music
That'd be
sound.
interesting. That'd be interesting. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don, for putting that through too. I appreciate it.
Behind the Star Wars, maybe.
No, I don't know about that. All right, guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate